Hope everyone can see my screen.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
visible.
Yes, I see.
Okay. Um,
Yes, sir.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to our X-Hackers Xamarin meetup of this month. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you are all keeping well during these tough times. Um, so, Before we start, I would like to thank .NET Foundation Group for sponsoring our meetup, and this session is also part of .NET Foundation Virtual User Group series, where you can join and find more virtual user groups happening around the world. So do check it out. Um, a quick introduction about me. I'm your host Durgesh Khandal. I work as a solution architect at Kimberly Clark, and in my free time, I love to play with Xamarin, and also I'm an active open source contributor at Xamarin Forms. So I like to build stuff there, like enhancements and fixes and all. So if you want anyone want to get started with that, I would love to help, provide helping hands. um, and I'm also part of recently became a .NET Foundation member. So I look forward to more community engagements and events going forward. And we also have a Swaminathan with us today, who was like getting our community, more interactive. So Swami, over to you if you can just brief about yourself and any news and updates if you want to provide. Yeah.
Sure, Durgesh. Thank you. Hey guys, good morning, good evening if you are from a different time zone. So this is Swami. So I work as an architect at Maersk in Bangalore, India. I'm a Microsoft MVP under Developer Technologies since 2016, and that's my GitHub handle, github.com/sp Swaminathan. And I do write some technical blogs at swaminathanvetri.in, and that's my Twitter handle. You can follow me there. I recently started a YouTube channel too. You can youtube.com/swaminathanvetri. So I started posting videos about Docker, Cloud Native, and things like that. I used to be a mobile developer quite some time back. That's when I was part of Xhackers, and then I became the organizer of it. But currently, I don't actively work on mobile development. So I'm more of on the backend side, building microservices and Azure PaaS services and things like that. So if you have any queries around that, please feel free to reach out to me on those any of those means. Yeah. That's a quick intro about myself. Yeah, so we like to have these community event going on a monthly basis or so. That's the effort me and Durgesh are trying to do now. Yeah, so we're looking for more speakers and more volunteers to help us keep it going. So yeah, it's open for all. Over to
Yep.
you, Durgesh.
Th-
Yeah.
thank you, Swami. Let's move ahead. So for those who joined us for the first time, I can give quick introduction about our meetup. So first of all, welcome again. We are a global community of developers who develop mobile apps using Xamarin and other Microsoft technology stack. So these are some of the social credentials where you can find more about us. Let me just show you quickly. Um, about our meetup and the other groups that we have. So this is our meetup group, where you can find the information about upcoming and past events. So since earlier we used to have in-person meetups, like half-day in-person meetups where you used to connect, and also hackathons and hack nights. But given the current situation, we have been continuing our community contributions and events virtually. So you may find more virtual events here in the upcoming section, so do check it out. And we also have a X-Hackers group on Facebook where you can share your knowledge, and if you have any queries while working on Xamarin, you can post those queries as well. So feel free to make use of these groups. And as you know, like most of the official Xamarin team and Xamarin community worldwide are mostly active on Twitter. So we have a Twitter handle and we are there as well. So feel free to make use of it. There's a lot of good content here. So so yep. So this is our today's favorite slide. Basically, like as you all know, we love contributions. So we have today with us like Anish Shah, who is a like software developer, and he has a like around 4 years of experience in Xamarin and as well as Xamarin Native. He'll be presenting us today about flex and bindable layouts for adaptive UI. So if you have ever faced issues, while working on the UI part of Xamarin and utilizing installing the same over different devices and sizes. There's a lot of good, cool demo around there. And then we also have Chandan Pradeep, who is a like senior mobile application developer, and almost having like more than 5 years of experience with Xamarin, and as well as hybrid mobile development too. He'll be showing us, latest and greatest around Fresh MVVM best practices around dependency injection and utilizing Fresh MVVM in your enterprise applications. Yeah. So we are fortunate to have our like these two great sessions, and I hope you would like the sessions too. As part of the agenda, we'll start at 11:15 with our first session, and then we'll have a 15 minutes of break at 12:15. So where you can, if you want to grab a bite, you can have. Otherwise, if you would like to stay, we all will be there in the call. You can have networking with other Xamarin developers as well. Then we'll start at 12:13 with our session on Fresh MVVM with Chandan, and then at 1:30 we can wrap up. So ordinary meeting rules are there, not something more restricted. So during the session, do keep your Microsofts and videos off to avoid any distractions. If you have any questions, you can post over the chat window. We have also kept at the end of each session, we have also kept 10 minutes of Q&A, so that during this 10 minutes you can unmute your mic or you can ask questions. And the sessions are more of like interactive rather than a classroom training. So do make sure that you are having fun. Um, so as we have only 3 minutes left, so let's get started with our first session now. And probably I do have some updates which I can provide during the break. So keep, I mean, be there, tune into our meetup today, and there is a lot of updates and information there for you as well. So let's get started with our first session. Does anyone have any questions so far? We can take one or two. Mhm.
Yes, Ravi, please go ahead. I see that you've raised your hand.
Actually, I just wanted to know that where will be the recordings available after this?
That's a great question. Durgesh, I think we didn't show the YouTube channel of Xhackers. So maybe
Yes,
do you want to just quickly show that? So
Yep,
this will be put up there.
There will be a page also which I'll be sharing. Let me see if I can load that here. Yep. So can you see my screen right now, Ravi?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So so I'll be sharing this.
Yeah, I can see.
Yes. Yeah. So this is a page we have at xhackers.github.io where we keep our slides and demo in the recordings for all our previous meetups as well. So after this session, I'll just collect the recordings and every resources and then just publish on this page, and we'll also share this URL on our social groups. So you'll be find the one place to go through the slides and demo and as well as YouTube recordings.
Cool. Thank you.
And you can also find we are also there on YouTube since we started virtually. So you will also find a Xhackers Xamarin Meetup channel on YouTube where you can find all of our past recordings yet.
Sure. Thank you.
I think we can get started. So let me stop my screen, and Anish, you can start presenting.
Yeah, sure, Durgesh. Thanks. Just let me know once you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see. And just a request, those who are not speaking, please, if you can mute yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening. So this side Anil. So currently I'm working as a programmer analyst in the Kmart Group Australia. So this company is basically into the retail domain. So there I'm working as a product developer for the internal products, which will like accelerate our business. So today I'll be covering the topics which Durgesh has already mentioned regarding the flex layout, mindable layouts, and the control templates, which in day-to-day life we are using for the mobile application development. So first I'll show you the usage of the flex layout. Like these kind of the usage you can see, like many places I have seen the post, like if some pattern is being followed. So in first column only one element is there, second column 2 to 3 elements are there, and the third column only one element is there. So during that UI achievement, we can't proceed with the connection view or the list view. So for this, the Xamarin has given the flex layout, which I'll be demoing in the in my videos. Then the other thing is like the control template. So basically, control template usage is like if we want to change the themes and all, and just want to make our code readable format. So at one place, making the changes will reflect the throughout the application, and some of the common UIs will be present, like the header and the footer. So that also I'll be showing. And one more thing, like most of the time, this tree view structure is there, which we rely on the third.
Can you please move to the full screen mode for the presentations, please? Thank you.
Yeah. So like this, the tree view structure. So most of the times, like I also encountered during my the early phase, like we are using the Telerik or the Syncfusion. So the usage of the third party plugins, like some of the times we won't be getting the complete grip over the controls and all. So recently Xamarin has launched that not recently, but it has been a long time, where the bindable layouts we can use to achieve the tree view. So through that tree view, we can open the expand and collapse into the Xamarin forms up to any level, n level of the tree structure. Yeah. So now I'll start with the. Yeah. So first, I'll demo about the folder structure. So I have maintained a very plain folder structure and following the MVVM pattern, normal MVVM pattern. And for the property change and all, I have installed the plugins like the property changed body, and also no need of writing the getter setter everywhere. Just with the public properties, we can bind the XAML part. So I'll go into the first, I'll start with the control template. So control template, basically like it's a master UI, which you can define inside a control template, and you have to give a key. So with this, yeah. So we have to provide a key. So here I have used.
Yeah, Anish, can you unmute yourself? I have mute everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Duresh. So I was talking about the control template. So let me run the app through the. So yeah, so like I have created the 3 pages. So for the demo purpose, like if I go to the second page, so you can see this, the header and the footer is being like constant. So I have used the control template. So if I go to some of the UI pages, views, if the catalog view only XAML, if I go, so there in the top, in the namespace, I have defined this control template. If I remove this, so as you can see, so my the control template has gone. So whatever the background color and all everything which I have specified in the control template, it will not be visible. So basically control template, like where you can use, like if you have two hamburgers or some of the common UI part, which is like you can't achieve through the master detail page. And in the master detail page, if you have experience like it won't open the hamburger like this from the down, it will open the on the top of the half of the screen. And if you are giving any headings and also, it will not be visible to the user. So for which reason I have used this control template. So briefly, I'll tell like control template usage, where you can do like, if you can see, like I have given some of the color palettes down in the head, in the footer. So if I tap in the runtime, you can change the color of the whole UI. So which gives a good experience to the user. Like most of the mobile apps like are now running on the dark themes and the normal themes. So you can achieve those themes through here. So this like regarding to the control template. So for achieving this control template also I have used the flex layout. Since flex layout, what it will do like most of the times I have worked in all the three platforms like UWP, Android and the iOS. So this iOS and the Android part, if you can see, like their screen devices are fixed, but in the UWP, like if you can see, if I double tap this, so like similar ways the apps will be there in the UWP platform. So what the grid will be do, like grid will be the compile time, it will break your screens and it will render the UI. But as soon as you start expanding and collapsing the UI, your UI will get crushed. So that kind of issues you can resolve with the flex layout. But some of the loopholes are also there of the flex layout, which I'll be discussing later in this video. So now I go. So as you can see, like I'll explain like how I have done. So flex layout, like the thing is like it is like opposite to the grid. Like if you in the grid, if you are defining the column definition, so in the mobile, so it will break your UI into the column section. But in the flex layout, it's not like that. So in the flex layout, if you are giving the direction as the column, so it will take your screen like respective elements as the height as the basis property. So yeah, this is the basis property which I like the most in the Xamarin Forms for the flex layout. So this basis property, like I have given the header part as the 10%. So through in all the devices, it will occupy only the 10% of the whole device height. Then the remaining part, like if you can see in the code, like 90%, I have defined the content view. So content presenter is there. In the content presenter, your overall whatever the XAML part you will be writing into the content page, as I'll show you. So control template, how it will work, like you just have to define this control template. So it will like give you like a master detail page, whatever the template is being present in the Xamarin Forms. Similarly, it will work like that. So in the top header and the footer, it will like come and render. Then after that, within this remaining part, content presenter part, which I showed you into the Xamarin part. So in this, you can place your content and it will render automatically. Then you don't have to worry about this header and the footer part. It will be taken care by the control template. So this so basis property I was defining. Then for the hamburger, I have used the grid, because since in the inside the grid, if we like place anything, then
Hey,
it will like.
Anish, sorry to interrupt. Can you please zoom in the code? I think people are finding a bit difficulty in reading the code. If you
Yeah.
can increase the font or zoom in, that will be better.
Sure.
Yeah. One more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's fine. Yeah, sure. Thank you. So as so like the thing which I was speaking, like this control template will be taking care of your the header and the footer part in all the pages, if you can see. Just the thing is like and you can create one the base view model where you can keep all the commands and the header, title header, or whatever the elements you want, which I'll show you in the later part of the videos. So I'll go to the first page. So this hamburger I was speaking, like I have placed inside a grid view and use the flex layout only. So for the hamburger, I have given the basis property of around 40% and the 60%. Inside the phone, I have given 60%, and for the tablet, I have given 40%. So like when you start using the flex layout, you will love this property, this basis property, which will break the UI and it will like render depending upon, because of which reason the flex layout, we call it as adaptive UI, which can render properly into different dimensions of our devices. So this, as you can see, that the hamburger is overlapping over the whole view. So that's why I have placed. Now I'll move towards the flex layout. So for this, like I have given some of the tabs. So this also I have achieved using the flex layout. So first I'll tab this. So for this news, I have used the news API. So this API you can use, just you have to generate the key and you have to use it. So as you can see, so I have achieved this using the flex layout. So if like, yeah, so I go into the code. For the styling purpose, I have used some of the CSS styling. Since the benefit of the CSS styling is like if inside a parent, if any element is there, like we are placing inside a grid, we are placing 4 to 5 labels. So in the app.xaml, if you're defining these styles and all, then for every label, we have to specifically define these styles. But for this CSS styling, like if in these, there is a property called style class. So there is a property called the style class. So it will like, for whatever the components you are giving this style class, for like I have given it 40 frames. So whatever the frames are placed inside that, any of the flex layout or the stack layout or the grid, it will like automatically give that style to all the elements which are of the frame control. So it saves the time, and it is like at a one place you have to change, and it will reflect throughout the. But that is similar to that also, but specifically only one place into the parent you have to define the style class, which will render. So as you can see, like one minute. So yeah. So as you can see, like there are the three layouts. So this one is, first one is also is being defined as a flex layout only, and this tile view also I have used the flex layout to achieve the property. So since you have seen like for the first one, I have used the direction as the row only. So it will like since in the scroll view you will not get the basis property defining on the percentage basis, since the UI will not be able to calculate whatever the percentage or the area you have to calculate. So here you have to hard code it. So which I was showing, like here I have hard coded it like the height 380 and the flex spaces as the 300. But here one more thing we can do, like since in the scroll view, since here I have given the scroll view as the horizontal one, so the vertical will be the static one. So now I'll run this into some other devices, like tablet I'll run. Then I'll show you. So as you can see, this control template which I have defined, so I use the flex layout, so it's automatically taking the 10% of the header and the 10% of the footer, and 90% it's calculating. So if you can see, like the UI has not been crushed or anything has been happened. It's rendering properly. Some of the tweaks we have to do depending upon the achievement of the layouts, which we can achieve using the margins and all. But most of the things will be taken care with the help of the flex layout. So now the thing this. As you can see now, this UI has been pressed since I have given the static values. So I change and I'll show like sorry. So here you can see like the scroll view, that vertical one I have given, I haven't given the scrolling. So it is the static part. So I'll use the column direction as a column, and then I'll show that how we can use the basis property to like fix it out depending upon the device sizes. So here I'll use column. So here I give width. Yes, so one more thing, like when I'm giving the direction as a column, then you have to give the basis property for the height one. Since the basis property works depending upon the directions. If you are giving it as a row, so it will work on the width part, and if you are giving it as a column, it will work on the height part. So which I'll show you. So width and the basis, I'll keep it as 100%. So now if you can see, yeah, the expected behavior will be like this only. Why this is coming like this? Because I haven't like my UI has been crushed. Like flex layout has a property called which will like which will align the elements within its like the body. So now how we can resolve this? We can use the property called wrap. So it will start wrapping the UI. So now if you can see. So now you can see. So first it has taken the height as 100%, then it didn't get any of the, like the layout is not being left. So parent has been over here only, like I have break the UI into the two parts. So this is the down part of this, after which you are seeing this GIF image is running into the tiles. So it will occupy the 100% on the top, then it will start wrapping. So it will come render here, then it will start wrapping, and it will go to the other row part, other column part of the UI. So like I have made the changes. So similar thing we should be able to see into all the smaller devices. File one. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see like width, some tweaks which I have told, like loopholes, since this is a scroll view, so width has been expanded. But if you can see, like the UI is being adjusted depending upon the device sizes. If you want to run on the smaller devices, that also you can try. Let me check whether this is working. Let it run. So in the meantime, I can tell something. So yeah, so Xamarin Forms, I was talking about the bindable layout.item source. So if flex layout is there and your component is being defined inside it, like since this frame is there, so I have given this style class for the frame, so which the style the frame is taking. So most of the times, we are getting the huge amount of data and all, and we want to bind it with the data. So mostly in the all the mobile apps, if you see some pattern is being followed. So for that, what we can use, we can proceed with the bindable layout.item source, which will give me the flexibility to make it as a list kind of the behavior. Then inside that we have to define as a bindable layout.item template. Then my data template will be there. So most of you might be using this data template selector. So that same thing will work here also. You can define the different templates, and you can, depending upon the data, you can change the template also. Same thing will happen. So I have defined it. Then inside that I have binded it with the properties, whatever is being there in the observable collection. Which I'll go catalog model. So this observable collection is there. So I have used the model class. So these properties you can bind. Currently, I haven't binded all the properties, since some mock data I have binded. I am calling the API and then I'm binding it with that. So with the data you can bind, and then depending upon whatever the properties you have defined in the that model class, you can bind it inside it. Like you can see this label I have binded with the author, then title, then image I have binded with the URL image I have binded, and depending upon that you can make it as a pattern follower. So yeah, so it is being done. So as you can see, which I was talking about the control template, so you are saying that it's automatically adjusting depending upon the device sizes. Since here is like a little bit of tweak which you can resolve using the margins and all. So if I go to the first, this is the first page only. So if I click, so as you can see, this 100% I have given, but since the parent height I have given some 75% I have given. Yeah, some 70% I have given. So it will take the 100% respective to that 70%, and the UI is not breaking. So which is the better benefit. So benefit of the flex layout, most benefit you will get during the UWP development, where you can just now I showed into the browser, where you can expand and collapse of the like you can drag and drop to make resize the that apps and all. So there you can see. So what? Yeah, I was talking about the bindable layout. Yeah. So now I'll speak about this. So the thing which I used for this was the column direction as a column. Now we'll speak about the direction as a row. So if I open it, so yeah. So here also, like in the down UI part, I have used a flex layout to achieve this a collection view kind of thing. And these images, I'm using the FFF cache image loading, which is a plugin available. So in that you can use this the GIF images, like you can see whatever the items I'm tapping, that is being reflected in the header part also, and the images are into the GIF format, which you can use to make the UI look and feel good. So I'll speak about this child style, if you can see. Uh, So as you can see here the height I have to fix, because since I spoke in the previous part also, like whatever the scrolling part is static, in that you can give the basis property. Since it's been static, so it will like take the percentage. So here I have given the percentage, I think mm, child style. Yeah, so here you can see I have given the percentage as a 33 percentage, so which will be considered as one third of the screen, so it will come into the one third. If I change it to 25%, so then my four elements should come. Yeah, so four elements is coming. So yeah, UI has been crushed, because since in the inside part I have to take care of the stuff and all. So I'll undo that and I'll show it to you. Yeah, so this is there. Now I'll go to the, yeah, so now I'll go to some of the flex layout, like the components, like second page. If I go, so you can see this, I have used with the direction as a row only, and I have given 33% for this. If same thing, I'll run into the tablet, so I have given it as a 25%, since tablet width is more. Yeah. So as you can see, like my UI, like if I want to make a achievable UI, some of the requirements comes, like we have to render the UI in a 3" of the devices to the 11.5 to 12 to 13" of devices. So we can proceed with the flex layout. Now, one more property of the flex layout is there, like this justify content is there, like the start. So if I make it like a center, so my the whole component will move it to the center. I think, oh, sorry, here now. Have you used, yeah. So here I have to make it center. So as you can, this align content also I have to make it as center. So as you can see, like this align content and the justify content, if I make it as a center, it will move to the center. So those things, like you can handle it from the parent only. And yeah, so now 2 to 3 days back I saw one requirement, like some of the social sites, so which I'll be explaining in this part. Like there was a being a pattern followed, like there was one tile in the first row, then there was two tiles in the second row, and the third bigger tile in the third row, then again one tile in the third, fifth, fourth row, and then it was repeating. And the requirement was like the user wants to bind it with the API coming, so that he can see the data on the scroll. So which I'll show you. So this also I have achieved using the flex layout, like this card view. So if I go for this example, yeah. So for this, what I have used, like similarly, like here also I have used. Yeah. So in the style class, depending upon the on-idiom phone and on the tablet, you can give the different style classes into that CSS styling class. Then there I have used the row property, and I have been using the wrap. So if I say, like I have given the 100%. So after 100% of the rendering of the first view of first cell, it will wrap and it will go to the second row. Then again it will wrap and it will go to the second row. And you can see the spacing between the two elements. These you can like manage using the margin. So if you give a margin of a 10, so it will take from the left, right, top, and bottom. So that is not an issue. You can easily handle it. So here, yeah, here. Since here I'm getting the basis property for a single element, which I'll not be getting the property for this grid layout or for the stack layout, which I can't bind, which I will binding only for the width or the height request. I'll be getting the property, and it will be a very messy kind of a code, which which will not be into the readable format, and it's very it will be very complicated on the later part to make it a bindable property with that width of the height property and then passing it from the model class. So here I'll show you. So I already have this. So yeah, so in the model class of the animals only, like if I will go model. So you can see like the basis I have taken it as a float since sorry, it will go on the decimal parts of the, so you can see like the property I have defined as a basis and I'll be binding it with it. So like if you can see like this basis property, you can see this is a static property and which is under the flex basis of the Xamarin Forms. So get basis is there. There is not a setter property. So I have used a converter, which I'll show you here. So here I have defined a read-only property of the flex layout type converter, and then I have used it to convert the float into the percentage values. So if I'll stop the app and run it again, I run into the form. Yeah. So, as you can see, like some of the views, some of the model, like single view is considered as a single object of that model class. So I have given 100. So 100, it will be converted into 100%. Then I have given 50. Then again, I have given 50. So two elements will be like the half of the screen. Then I have given 25, 25. So now we'll see how our UI will render. Yes. If I go to the third page. So as you can see, like for whatever the properties I have given the basis property, it's rendering according to that. But this will work like if some of the pattern is being followed, like the same object we have to bind or something. You guys can ignore the UI, like I have made more of the things into a single of the cards. So if some of the pattern is coming, then depending upon that the requirement, there will be some different data, but a single UI will be, single API is integrating, then we can use this. So as you can see, like I have given 50%, 50%. So you can break it down and you can like bind it, and then it will be taken care of by the flex load and it will render accordingly. If same thing I run over the tablets. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see like the same thing has been achieved. So whatever the floating values I have given, it's like converting and it's providing it to the elements. So directly you can't bind it with the 100% or the 25% since it's inside the forms property of that static property and only get value is there. So we have to use the converter to convert it back and then assign it to the each and every basis property of the element. So it is being, so as I already I told that this control template, the benefits, like in any page you can go and just change the theme which will be retained throughout your application. If you can go, so it is being written throughout the application. So at the runtime you can change the themes and all, and for that like if I'll show you, the changing theme is like simply whatever the color is of the primary color is there, just you have to assign it with the new color and it will simply reflect it. So that changing themes is like only 2 to 3 lines of code which I have used. There's the thing is like in the properties only I have passed some of the codes which I have defined into app.xaml. So this I only have like passed the property. You can use the switch case if some different values is coming, and you can assign it depending upon whatever the color code you want. Then one more thing, yeah. So like from the long time we are discussing about the bindable layouts. So now I'll tell you what are the benefits of the bindable layouts and the loopholes of the bindable layouts. Uh, so I'll undo everything. So yeah, so yeah, I'll run it again. since like 1 year or 2 year backs, like I was using the list view. So in the list view, what if you give too many controls and all of the command properties, then list view itself has a item selected property. If you set it as a false also, so sometimes what will happen, most of the times your command properties will trigger, but it will not hit to the exact point where it has to hit. So for this reason, like if you can see, if you tap on this, so any tapping kind of the behavior which on the list view is coming, it will not come. And whatever the command properties, any buttons or the list, any buttons or the entries you are giving, that specific properties will be taken care. And for this bindable property, like the thing is like just simply you have to design one of the complex UI whatever is being given, when the requirement is coming, and then simply put it inside a stack layout or the flex layout. Grid is not supporting that bindable property, so grid we can't use. Only the stack layout or the flex layout we have to use. And one loophole of the flex layout is like if the basis property you are giving as a auto or something like in the grids and all, since
Looks like a screen is stuck. Is it only for me or is
It's same
anyone?
here.
Okay, okay. Let me check with Anish. Chandan, are you there in the call?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, can you try calling him? I don't have his
Sure, I'll try
contact
to.
number. Yeah.
Just a second, yes.
Yeah, in the meantime, I think we can continue our conversations. So guys, I hope you are enjoying the features of Flex layout. Um, I'm not sure, how many of you have used it. If you would like to share your experience, I think some of us have used it, like Ravi. So would you like to share your experience with utilizing these features, if it is in production ready apps like that? So how
Sorry to
many
interrupt.
of
Sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to
yeah,
mention that Anish is coming back in a second. There was a power cut.
yeah, sure, no worries. So in the meantime, we can continue our conversation. So as anyone would like to share their experience with Flex layout? I'm just seeing the chat. Hi, Pat, introducing yourself, and thank you for joining our meetup as well. I'm not sure which you are in and what is the time currently, but probably if it is late, then definitely a big thanks to join our meetup. About Fresh MVVM, so yes, we'll start it like in next 1.5 hours. No, it's at 12:30, Chandan, right? Sorry, my bad. In
Yes,
another
yes.
next, yeah. So it'll start in another like 30 minutes approx. Yeah. Oh, it's good. Hi, Aditya. Thanks for joining our meetup. Yep. Anish, are you back?
yeah, yes, like some power flickering was there. Sorry to have
No
that
worries.
issue.
No
Are you
worries.
able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see. Yep.
Yeah. So like what I was telling like about the bindable layouts which I was telling. So like recently which I mentioned in this like the three view also achieved. So I'll proceed with that. So as you can see in the app, like here I have given it to the three levels of the tree view using the bindable layouts, which I'll discuss. This the hamburger which I have given. So if we go to where are the dashboard? So dashboards, if we use, so header view is there. So as you can see, I have used the this accordion view. So you can see there, I have used the stack layout. Since I mentioned like this bindable layout, but item source we can use only into the two layouts, which is being like the stack layout or the flex layout. So I have used the stack layout. So the stack layout one bindable property I have given, and inside that I have defined the row as auto, and which I'll show like first one will be the header part, which I'll be binding it with the parent. So that header part will be coming inside this label and the images. Then in the another row specification, I'll be again defining the bindable layouts, and whatever the object is being inside the model class that I'll be binding with the childs. So similarly, you can achieve the tree view by nesting of this layouts inside the layouts and then binding it with the objects of the specific properties, which I have binded it with the um, this parent. So as you can see, this parent has observable collection as a child, and the observable collection of the child has a observable collection of the subchilds. So which you can easily achieve it using the flex layout. Then some of the loopholes of the flex layout is like if most of the times if you are using the flex layout, then I prefer to use the stack layout for these kind of the achievements of the list views and all. Then flex layout like in the smaller devices or the smaller Android will get some of the flickering issues. So that is there. And if the during the development phase, if we are not taking care of the basis property properly, then some flickering kind of issues can since if the basis property there will be no issues on the rendering of the UI. So like as told like the stack layout. One more thing which I want to show like yeah, I was telling about the experience which I experienced. Like there was one production issue came for my app. Like there was a list view, and whenever the user was giving the command to that single view cell, it was not hitting that view cell. So then we replaced it with the bindable layout with the item source. Then it was giving that proper command. And many of us will be having the question like there will be a performance issue and all while loading huge data into a single data. So
Yeah, Anish, we are facing some yeah voice cut. Can you just be closer to the? Can you check if your network is complete there? Yeah. Hello, Anish. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we lost your screen. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what I was telling, like, if you see that I have placed inside a scroll view, so there is one property of the scroll view, scroll which through which I can get the endpoint of the scroll view, and depending upon that, we can load. Uh, Depending upon that, we can load whatever the minimum amount of data we want to load. So it will avoid the first time rendering of the scroll view, which I will show you in some of my project, which I have. As you guys might have seen, one of the more folder is like the effects one. This I'll show you in some other project. Yesterday I was trying by the for the effects and all. Since we all are aware, like In the Android part, if we are using the frames and all, it will not give that the shading behavior of that look and feel which we are getting into the iOS part. So which I'll show you. So this mostly Chandan will speak about the scrolling events and all, which you can easily get into the view model in the another session if we are using the fresh MVVM. So as you can see, like you can get the with the help of the current page name in the view model, you can get whatever the layout is there if you have defined with the X name. Then in the step 4 control, if you go, your parent list will be there, which will be getting the data from the API. Then here, if you can see, like I find it with. So what you can do, you can load more data. How you can do with the list, whatever the count is there, you can skip that count, whatever the 15 already count has been made. Then you can take the another 15 count. So how it will render, like if a list is huge, only 15 data will be binded and it will be displayed. As soon as you scroll, you can put a activity indicator or something, and your another 15 or 15 more data will be loaded. So with the help of this, you can like avoid the latency issues in the UI. So that performance issue you can manage. Uh, I'm not pretty much sure. Like I face this issue using the list view. Like if the tapping issue, sometime I face if the template selectors are being used. Many different kind of templates are there. You have the entry field, some button commands, or some of the things which the API call is there, and you have to update this, the color flags and all. So not pretty much sure like who all have faced, but yeah, we can resolve it using the bindable layouts. The bindable layouts, the one important feature is like achieving this kind of the tree view for the both the platforms, iOS and the Android. So we can avoid using the third-party plugins and all. Yeah. So the last topic which I want to discuss is regarding this effects. So this effects. Yeah, one more loophole of the flex layout is there and the bindable layouts is there. Like Xamarin has recently launched the swipe view into the beta version. So for that, it's only supporting the list view for the collection kind of the data and all. So if you want to implement that delete feature, so that delete feature is not being performed smoothly into that. It is throwing some of the issues which the team is been working on. Uh, yeah. So yeah, this effects I'll show you. So as you can see, I have defined one of the effects and being used. I'm using it inside a grid. So as you can see. So you can see that the shaded kind of the UI look and feel is coming, and the tile view kind of stuff is being coming inside this. So these effects you can like use to achieve these kind of stuff. So effects. So as you can see, I have created some of the bindable properties, has shadow set, some of the bool properties, whether it should have a shadow or not. Then color properties, radius property of the distance x and y, till what x-axis that shadow should be visible. Then in the Android part, if you can go, you can see like I have used some of the controls being provided by the Android to set that shaded effect. And similarly in the iOS part also, if you can see like I have used. So in the both platforms we can use it. Now like the question will come, like the frame already has a shadow for the iOS part. Since like we can use the frame also for that, but if the frame we are using, then in the Android part there will be no shadow effect. And the frame if we are using with this shadow effect, then in the iOS part it will be too much of shady kind of the things will come. So basically I have using the grid to provide that shadow effect, which is coming properly into both the in both in both the platforms. If I show you in the iOS part, yeah. think it's taking time. Yeah. So as you can see, that shadow effect I'm getting. So like the similar way in the Android and the iOS part, I'm getting the shadow effect. So now, yeah. So that's all from my side regarding this layout and the achievement of the same similar kind of the patterns and all. So yeah.
Thank you, Anish. Thank you for the great session. So I think we can open up the forum for question and Q&A. So if anyone has questions related to flex layout or bindable layouts to achieve adaptive UIs, so feel free to unmute your mic and you can ask questions. In the meantime, Anish, you can pick some of the questions from chat window as well. Yeah. Mhm. I think there are no further questions at the top, so you can start from at the bottom. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we can achieve it with the custom render also. Like if you feel like custom render, how it will work on your control part. So sometimes it will be like too much of heavy for the application, like the control part we are like every time hitting and converting into, whereas the effects will work on the view part of your whatever the layer of the view on which it is residing. So it's kind of a lightweight to use into the Xamarin Forms, like many of the issues we are facing during the development, some latency issues and all. So yeah, we can achieve it with the custom renderer also.